Ba-la-ba-ba-ba-ba. In a week where Karen has confused the internet, where Richard's Bluetooth has gone bonkers, and where sirens are screaming and Doctor Who's melted Twitter, welcome to Start Your Day. It is Monday. We are back. We are here. And it is one of them days that a girl goes through. But we are back. We are live. We are here. And you've got a double dose of this week. Bum, bum, bum.
Yes.
Morning, Karen. How
Good
are
morning. Yeah, I'm not too bad. We've had sort of a morning of it with lost cables and all sorts of things going on and thingies, doobies and oojama flips.
you? Watchama, hoojama, foojama, what's it?
Yes. Yes.
We are going to have so much fun today. I think the universe has just melted on one side and we're all just going wonky down the road and just going to have a bit of fun and uplift people, which is what our mission is anyway, isn't it, Karen?
Absolutely. Yes, we've got a fun topic today, ladies and gentlemen. And I think we're going to have to be careful how we play it, how we deal with it. But we are professional, Nicholas, aren't we?
We certainly are. So welcome to SPTV, or your Monday morning dose of the wonderful Karen Woods, the unredoubtable Nick Brown, and of course the delightfully charming Richard in the background, keeping us from saying things that we're not supposed to. Boy, has he got his work cut out for him this week.
Oh, he has. Yes, and dealing with Bluetooth issues and everything else. Yes.
I'm going to say everything else that comes his way. So welcome along. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe, because you don't want to just keep us to yourself. You want to share this insanity with the rest of the universe.
Absolutely.
Let everyone know that we are here. So please do share. Good morning to Kelly Rockette, who says, hope you're well, Richard. Cards should be arriving tomorrow, Thursday latest. Excellent stuff.
Oh, exciting.
They've been on a bit of a journey, haven't they?
Oh, well, don't forget, Kelly, hashtag I've got the cards.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, neither of us have done it yet, admittedly, but we will.
Excuse me, I did it on my own Facebook page, I'll have you know.
Oh, you did it on your own Facebook page? But did you share it onto the SPTV page?
Well, I tried. Whether it got there or not, I'm not sure.
Is this another move the thingery doobery moment?
Yes,
me, I've just been so blooming busy. I haven't known my my clavicus from my rectus obliquus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's another way of putting it, but I won't say it.
Yes,
Good morning to Stephen Tudor, who is joining us for the first time on here. We're not always this mad. Most of the time.
Well, we are, but Stephen, you'll get used to us. Welcome, and thank you for coming on here for the first time. Hello, Linda. Mama Brown is in the house, and a wet, soggy little Paul. So
it really is.
You know what? We've got it here in not so sunny Tilby. Oh, it's sunny down south, says Richard. Oh well, aren't you lucky? It's always sunny on the south coast.
There was no hint of sarcasm there was. Shaz, very good morning, darling. We've got you coming on with us soon, I believe.
Morning, Shaz. Lovely to see you. Yes.
Oh, come on. And Rebecca Whelan as well. Hi, babe.
Good morning, Elizabeth Costello. Oh, from Dublin. Lovely. What's the weather like in Dublin? Oh, dear. It's one of those mornings. It's one of those mornings.
It really is. Kieran Briscoe, hello and welcome.
Hello, Sam B. Nice to see you this morning.
Morning, doll. And Ashley Della Rosia.
Ooh, good morning.
I think I might have actually got that right as well.
I think you have, yeah.
Do you know what the trick is? Just don't think. Just
exactly.
Say it,
just say it. Yes. Hello, Dave B. Nice to see you. And a lovely picture there.
It is. It's very charming.
Yes, a very, very professional photo.
Indeed. And Sam B's getting chilly. Not happy.
Not happy.
You know,
I
In
know.
terms of the weather and the drizzling, it is rattling against my window, and it's
Oh,
cold in Dublin. Elizabeth Costello says.
yes, it's not good. Do you know what? It's really weird. I don't know what's happening with the weather at the moment because it could be sunny for 5 minutes. You spin round and it's raining.
Yeah,
So I know it's very strange, very strange.
I believe
That
the term is changeable.
well, yes, and aren't we used to it in the UK? So
Oh yeah.
thank you, Rebecca. We're having a funny moment today. What did I say wrong? I don't
No,
think you said anything. I think it
you
was
didn't
me.
say anything. Yeah,
It was me, Linda.
yeah, yeah. It's always quite funny, really. When we hear, the responses that others don't.
Yes,
When
yes.
there's a hint of sarcasm about weather down on the south
I
coast.
didn't mean that. Honestly, I didn't. It just came out that
It was
way.
just such a sardonic, joyful response. And Cheryl Konings is cold in Adelaide, and I'm
Oh dear. Well,
assuming you're
it's
meaning the one in the South Hemisphere rather than the one 2 miles down the road.
yes, well, it's winter there now, isn't it, in lovely
Yeah.
Australia. Good morning, Judith Somerville, and from Scotland. Oh, lovely to have you with us.
And Marjorie Sauer, lovely to see you both. Cool weather at the moment here in Pittsburgh, 52 degrees Fahrenheit. Somebody's going to have to
Oh,
translate that for me, I'm not very good with Fahrenheit. I'm technically Gen Z, but I went to school and learned stuff in the 80s and 90s. So
oh well, you see, I'm way big. Um, so it's 11 degrees.
11 in Celsius. Thank you. So,
You see,
so
I
this is
prefer
joy.
Fahrenheit because I've only
Yeah.
just got used to Celsius, being the old girl that I am before anybody else is it.
See, I say that I'm better with Celsius. The truth is, hot, moderate, and cold is the best for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, sure.
But yeah, lovely. So it's 11 Celsius for Marjorie, which is not too cold, but not too warm neither. It's one of those temperatures that I'm happy with, if the truth be told.
Yes, me
I
too.
don't like. I go from either pale and pasty to scorched and red. There's
You
no
and me both, Nick. You and me both. We could sit under a brolly together on a hot day
We could.
with a cold drink.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cheersings.
Good morning, Eunice. Oh, she's lovely to have a sit down. Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's
She's
good.
been busy lady. Been
Oh,
very
she's a
busy
busy
lady.
lady. Oh, and we have Mr. Payne with us. Morning, Neil. Nice to see you.
Morning, mate. And Tracy Carley from Germany. Good morning to you. Tracy,
Oh,
we believe that you're the first person to join us from actual Germany. You're not the first German. I know a couple. But you are definitely the first person actually in Germany to join us. So welcome along. Um,
fabulous.
Truly spreading the word. I do love that
Absolutely.
picture of yours, by the way. That is gorgeous.
Yes, it is gorgeous, isn't it? Yes, it really is lovely. Yes, we are global. We are global,
We
Nick.
are. We certainly are. Reaching the 15 corners of the earth.
Thank you,
Um,
Stephen. There's nothing wrong with
yes.
being old. Absolutely not. Yes.
I'll be honest with you. I think it's more worse to be in the middle. Because I'm kind of like on the cusp of Gen Z. So I'm with you on so many things in terms of culture
Yeah.
and tradition and words that we use.
Mm.
And yet I've grown up with technology as it's come along at the
Yes.
right time for me. I was born in
Yeah.
1978. I'll be 46 this year. So I'm kind of like one of those, and I think that's harder because I see the best of both worlds and struggle to sandwich them together like a nice little,
It's
snicky
int
snack.
it's interesting you said that because when I was working, when the internet came on, Microsoft and all the technology came, because I started off my journey with a typewriter.
Yeah,
That was my journey. A manual typewriter, I hasten to add. I learned on a manual. Then we went
yeah,
to electric, and then we went to the golf ball, which probably people going golf ball. I'll explain if you need more knowledge. And then of course we went into the discs and things like that. And Richard would probably know all about that. And the first big computer I bought, the computer had its own, we had a whole room with big computers. That's what we had at work. So I was on sort of like the cusp of all of this, and I embraced it wholeheartedly. But then obviously as I've got older and technology's moved on a lot quicker, I struggle now. I want to learn, and I do listen to you two when you
Go off on one.
explain things to me, and I do want to learn, and I do try. And there's a lot of people that are very technophobe, that people that are younger than me. So I do try. Yes, Linda, they still come in handy, don't they? If you've still got
Yes.
a typewriter, absolutely. My son's actually got one, and he needed it for a play, but he sometimes types on it because he finds it quite therapeutic. But I probably wouldn't even know where to start now on it. I probably could do it, but I haven't done it for years. But so I embrace technology, but I do find it hard. But I feel I have to keep going with it, and I
Yeah.
don't like I have to I like to have an up-to-date phone. I like to I don't understand all the plugs and cables and all the things that you and Richard talk about, but I do try to keep an active presence on social media. I do my posters and technology on Canva and things like that. So I'm not too bad for my age.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think anyone who can move with the technological times has got my respect, because it does move very, very
It
fast.
does. Yeah.
Ironically, the typewriter that Linda was talking about was the one Dad got himself. Wait for it. This is how old it is. He got it so that he could type out his police reports.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's that's going back a bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, when I was in school, we started on the BBCs with the large floppies, and when we left, it was on the Windows with a 3.5 inch,
Yeah.
slightly harder shell,
Yeah.
but still called floppy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like about 4 or 5 years after I left school that I actually got myself a PC. To think that my first PC was nothing in comparison to the phone that I hold in my
I
hand in
know.
terms
I
of
know.
power and memory and ability and color, even.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's mad how the world has progressed. But do you know what hasn't progressed? Good morning to Victoria Witcher, by the way.
Yes. Good morning,
It's good
Victoria.
to see you. The words we use as substitute for items that we do not know. They are
Absolutely.
words that we
Absolutely.
still use ourselves. And this is the topic of the day.
Yes, it
It
is.
might not seem too spiritual, but we thought everyone needed a bit of the giggle and a bit of cheer up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good
Um,
morning, Tony Coppins. Lovely to have you on from New Zealand. And she shared to bigger groups. Thank
well
you.
done. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And Carrie Ann Marshall Kearns, good morning to you too. It is a pleasure. And would that be Mami Ama Ama? I hope I got that right. Good
Mhm.
morning to you as well. But yes, we're talking about those words that we use as substitutes. For
Yes.
me, hands down, I am a Miranda girl. It is Dewberry. Everything's a Dewberry for me. And occasionally, if I'm trying to intimate a naughty word, it's what's it?
Yes. Yes, I do that as well. And I also say, pass me the thingy, that thingy over there. And Mike, my partner's going, what do you want? And he's holding things up normally, like Richard was saying, what do you mean? But he is learning Karen speak. He is learning
Yeah,
Karen speak. And morning, Sarah McGeechy, nice to have you with us. So it is difficult sometimes because I think whether it's to do with our brains can't formulate what we're actually thinking or we're looking at it. I sometimes look at something, I'm thinking, and I just say, oh, the thingy. Or sometimes a friend of mine used to do it with names. She couldn't always remember people's names. So she'd say, oh, hello, sweetheart, how are you? Are you all right, love? Things like that
yeah,
as well. If you can't always remember someone's name, you don't want to just say, hello, what's your name? You just want to
yeah.
sort of say, make it a slight term of endearment, so that person feels included. But it is interesting. So what we thought we'd do is we'd actually ask all of you, what do you have any sort of words that you use instead of the actual word that you're referring to. So like I said, can you pass me the thingy? Nick says, oh, he's a what's it. So can you let us know what substitute words that you use in your everyday life? Because it is quite interesting. But do you do it on places sometimes, Nick? I love when you put the sat nav on. Thingy-majig, that's it, Linda. That's the
Thingy-majig,
one.
yeah,
That's the
thingy-majig
one.
for mother. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
When
places do get it as
yeah,
well.
places, because when you listen to the sat nav sometimes, and it sort of says, it actually says it verbatim, doesn't it? It says, take the right turning at, oh, what was the one it said? It said Ipswich funny the other day. It says a place and it always
Yeah,
makes me laugh. And it just, sometimes it's like there's a place in Kent that looks like it's called Trotterscliffe. That's how it's spelt, Trotterscliffe, but it's actually pronounced Trossley. And the woman I used to work with, she was our HR director at one of the companies I used to work with, and I said, "Oh, Sue lives in Trotterscliffe," and she said, "No, I don't. I live in Trossley, but it's actually
yeah,
Trotterscliffe. That's the way it's spelled." And there's
yeah,
there's another place in Kent that it looks like Lee, Leigh, but it's actually pronounced Lie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nigel corrected me on a place name last night. In actual fact, because I'd misquoted it, but my favourite is because computer speak tends to, like, for instance, with sat navs
Yeah.
and online and stuff, it tends to pronounce the words as they are spelt,
Yes.
like you did with Trotterscliffe. And I've gotten myself in some right royal gaffes over the years. But my favourite is how people would read Loughborough as Logie Baroga.
Oh.
Yeah, Loughborough is Logie Baroga because that's how it's spelled.
Yes.
But there's a village where my aunt lives, where Mama Brown was last week. Actually, people are insistent on calling it Mania, but it's actually Manie. And people get really, really confused with the town just down the road where I live, Ely.
Yes.
They call it Ellie all the time.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So it is to do with various different spellings and that kind of thing. I love what Tracy says.
Oh, I know.
Trumping everything. It's just,
I like that, Tracy. I do like that.
I do like that.
We might, that's it, thingamabob. That's one that
Thingamabob.
I use, Marjorie. A thingamabob, a what's it? Yes. I say, what you call it, Yes.
Yeah.
We all do it. It's quite funny, but I feel sorry, Nick, sometimes going back to places for when, our friends from abroad come over, they must get terribly confused. But what is wonderful is when I go to Wales, or suddenly know you're in Wales when everything is in Welsh, and you try and pronounce it. It's amazing. It just makes me laugh when you see all the spellings. And Sarah's just said you should live up here in Scotland. Nowhere is pronounced the way it's spelled. Yes, I'm sure, Sarah. It's the same in Wales as well.
Yeah. In actual fact, I saw a post the other day, a Welsh translated sign with Welsh and English.
Yeah.
I don't know how real it is. I will just throw that caveat in. But it was something like the English version was turn left at the entrance and see the site manager. But at the bottom it said, out of office, please leave any post-its for translation. I don't know how true it was. But that would be funny if that were the case.
I know.
And
I know.
Ashley says, "Oh my God, I'm planning to move down there, and there's a place called Silby or Solby, pronounced just like it's spelled." Yeah.
It does make me laugh when you see all the signs and when people sort of like have their own way of saying things. My friend used to call a garden centre. She used to call it Wivydale. But it wasn't that at all. It was a completely different name, but that's the name. That's the name that she used to use for it. And Cheryl's got one, a doozy what's it. Oh, I like that one. That's good. A doozy what's it.
I
Yes.
might, because I use what's it to translate, and there is a spiritual and there is a mediumship concept behind all of this, because there always is.
Mm.
Whenever I'm speaking for spirit and they give me a naughty word, I just use the word what's it. I always
Yes.
explain why I'm doing that, because occasionally they will say a naughty, and what's it was the go-to word of my mentor Lynn, so I've kind of inherited it from her, so everything automatically becomes a what's it now.
Mm. Mm.
The reason I learned it is not through watching a mediumship, it's because she used to use the phrase, "Oh Nick, you are a what's it."
Mm.
So that's the repetition came from that phrase.
Yes. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Yes, the terms of endearment that can be
Yes.
taken the wrong way from other locations.
Absolutely.
Um, Richard was just explaining that on the where he lives, to call someone a silly cow is actually a term of endearment. If I were to say that to my mother, I'd walk away with rosy cheeks.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yeah.
so that there is regional as well as global variance in phrases, but what's it's a truly international one.
Absolutely.
And I'm going
Oh,
to use doozy.
Doozy what's it? I like that. That's got a nice ring to it. Victoria Richards says, not quite what you mean, but I have a cat. His name is Rex. I always call him Pudding or Mr. Gigglesworth, rarely Rex. Do you know what? I get that because we've got Oscar, but because he's got such big ears, I call him Bat Dog or Dobby the Elf
Yeah,
because he's got
yeah,
big ears. And I think if his ears had sort of, if because we had him as a pup, if I'd have known his ears were going to go the way they were, I wouldn't have called him Oscar. I probably would have called him Dobby the Elf.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you both, because Thumper downstairs, our bunny, um, for some reason I've called it off of Nigel, but for some reason Nigel calls him Theodore.
Mm.
I've no idea where the parallel is, but it's always Theodore.
Mm.
Occasionally, I'll give him his full professional name of Theodore McTrump. There is a reason for that.
Yeah, I can
Um,
imagine.
but yeah, Thumper has become Theodore.
Oh,
Um,
oh.
and
Oh,
there's
yes.
there's my see,
Yeah, try it, Nick.
yeah, there
I
you go.
like it, Linda. I like it,
At least I recognise that that's what would happen.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
but and yes, this is a really, really good question. Have people been using their new cards?
Yes, we want to hear about that as well. Let us know what you think about them. Have you done any readings? Have you used them in teaching? I actually I was doing some evaluations last week with my students, and so on Zoom I had to use the breakout room to take students in to have a little private chat. So I gave the students, and I pulled 3 cards of the word of the life cards with the words, and they had to discuss the word. So they have been out the pack, and to be used as a teaching tool as well. So there you go.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I've used them a bit I used them in a circle last week. And yeah, they're lovely. Everyone's raving about them. And there are only 19 packs left, so please go to sptv.uk/cards where you can buy the remaining packs. There will never be any more. Trust me, there'll never be any more.
No, no.
So get them while they're there. Otherwise, you'll be having to buy them secondhand, and it will be like 250, 300 quid. Sherry Louise has used her.
Oh,
How'd you
well
get
done,
on?
Sherry.
Hope you
Well
had
done.
fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yes, it's good that it's good that people are using them because it makes it worthwhile for our Richard to know that they're being used and they're being loved. So that's good.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
Judith Somerville says, when somebody lives in Dundee, Scotland, as we call roundabouts circles. Say it what it is.
I like that. I like that.
And
Oh,
there's the reverse of it, actually. It really is
yes.
the reverse of it.
Yeah. Sam B says, I have to ask my kids all the time what a word means these days. I'm sort of with you on that, Sam. Sometimes when you watch popular cultural TV and they say something, I'm thinking, what's that? And then I do feel old, Nick, because I don't know
Yeah.
what a word means, you know?
Do you know
Um,
what? It's funny, really, because I could sit here and say I never use words people don't know what they mean, and there would be a torrent of abuse coming from people that know me, because I'm not as bad as I used to be. They don't believe me. I'm not as bad as I used to be, but there was a time where I regurgitated thesauruses for breakfast,
uh,
and I'm always using words that people, well, speak English. What does that mean? I'm not as bad as I used to be, but I get the opposite side of it as well.
yeah, I had a boss like you. He used, and I used to have headphones in and type, and he would be talking in my ear, and I'd have to, as audio dictation. And I used to say, what? And we had a foot pedal, so I'd be going back and forth. And if I didn't know what the word meant, and he was a very clever man, and he would use big words. I used to have to look them up so that I knew what he was saying in the context of the passage that he was writing. So yes, difficult.
You see, my granddad and we used to discuss fancy words, and my favourite conversation included the word flocky knocky nihilitilification, which,
Well,
you know,
really?
this explains my youth. When you're having an 8-year-old is having a conversation with a 65-year-old, including
Yes.
flocky knocky nihilitilification and anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Oh,
Um,
that's a bit of a
I've
mouthful, a
always
bit like
remembered it,
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
even though the sound of it is something quite
Quite
atrocious.
atrocious.
If you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Um, Tony Coppin says, you don't do online circles, do you, Karen or Nick? Yes, I do, darling. I don't know about you, Karen.
Yes, I do. I do online circles. Yes. Yeah,
Most of them don't work out for your time zone, though, I'm afraid, darling.
I know. I
Um,
know.
and no, Carrie Ann Marshall Kearns, unfortunately, you can't, to my knowledge, order the cards on the app. I'm sure Richard will correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe. Oh, however, even though I am right, I might not be for long. Richard has just said, it's a good idea. I'll see what I can do.
He,
Bravo, Carrie Ann.
well done, Carrie Ann. He likes a good idea thrown at him
He does.
to give him a bit of a challenge to sort something out. And normally, I have to say, he does. He sorts it out. Bless him. So there you
Certainly
go.
does.
There you
Certainly
go.
does. And
Yes.
so all of these wonderful, Marjorie, I love you.
Yes.
I have just
Definitely.
seen the most wonderful, wonderful comment that is going to cause huge praise from me, but consternation and concern from those who sit in circle with me. Marjorie says, "I don't believe in dumbing down my vocabulary for others." Do you know what? I'm with you. I will always explain what the word means. And you know what? I think you're absolutely right. But also, if people do use words, we shouldn't correct those words, but we should explain them for the benefit of others, but also to show that we actually are not throwing them in for the sake of it, and that they are
Yes.
words that we know what we
Yes.
mean. So I will explain those words.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah. The only problem Richard's got with me is that I don't pronounce my T's. Because what of course, I sit here speaking like this quite often and all that, but actually, what you don't know is that I'm actually a proper fen boy with a bit of Cockney mixed in. But but round here, our accent's a little bit Norfolky, Suffolky because we are on the border. So
Um,
one of the things about the one of the things about the Suffolk accent is that you can do the Suffolk accent if you actually don't move your bottom lip. But there is hints of those accents from up in the north and the
mm,
east of
mm,
East Anglia that
mm,
do translate more down to the southwest, which is I've always found quite funny.
mm.
But no, I don't believe in dumbing down my vocabulary, darling. But I will explain because otherwise, you could easily be accused of throwing words in that you don't understand. And I do know people that have done that. It's like, oh yes, nice word. What does it mean? Well, and that's when you know you've got them. So more power to your elbow, Marjorie. I am with you.
Well, I think, you know, it's good because you learn, not just you learn. And that's what I used to do with my boss. I'd learn different words. I'd learn different ways of putting things. And that's how you grow. You know, that's how you learn. So Sam B says, I thought Nick said we do online circuses.
We do. The truth is we do those as well. That's in spare time.
Yes. He's a tightrope walker.
Yeah. You should see me balancing with my thing dangling either side of me, with my top hat on and my sparkly leotard, and you should see my backflip, you know. And
Hugh Jackman's got nothing on Nick. Anyway,
unfortunately. Shay Anderson says you're really good at accents. Thank you.
He is actually. I wish I could do accents. I hear them in my head when I do mediumship, but I cannot do an accent to save my life. So there you go.
Yeah.
But
I think the reason I can do accents is one of the reasons why I refuse to do trance. Because I you know, you should hear my Voldemort.
Oh, that's scary, Nick. That's scary. I don't like Voldemort. He scares me. Not very good. Oh, yes, I don't. I've got all goosebumps.
That master says that Dobby is a free elf.
Anyway, let's get back on track because I think we better take a break and let's come to our wonderful outside reporter.
Absolutely. We have got so much coming on today. And of course, we've got the wonderful Kate May in just a few minutes. There will be messages, there will be discussions, there will be views on what's coming up. But most importantly, an explanation as to why weird words applies in an important way to mediumship in itself.
Oh, yes.
So, Karen, what's next?
Well, it's now, this is our saying, this is our funny saying on Start Your Day. It is now Roland Richard time.
Over to Kate May.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Kate May, Modern Day Mystic. You can catch me on katemay.co.uk. Here is your week ahead tarot readings for each zodiac sign. Not gonna lie, I have no idea what the date is. Sometime in June 12th, something like that. Okay, let's have a look. Aries, your week ahead is choices, emotional choices. Now, this card indicates that you've got things you need to look into a bit more. Don't go on just what's on the surface, delve a bit deeper. All is not as it seems. Try not to be too living in a bubble or trying to think that everything's wonderful when perhaps there's some cracks underneath. This week, Aries, it's going to be important that you don't live in a fantasy world, that you come back to reality, you see things for what they are and make your choices based on reality, not la la land. Okay, Taurus, let's have a look what your vibe for the week ahead is. Ace of Wands, yes, go for it. I always like this, being a Taurus. I'm always a bit dubious about what I'm going to pick. So the Taurus, Ace of Wands, yes, go for it. New ideas are coming in, new opportunities, and excitement is coming back into your life. I want to say, like, go for it. This card says go for it, Taurus. And things out the blue could come along your way to open doors, open opportunities. But it's like you're going to get a spark of inspiration this week, Taurus, to go for it. Okay, Gemini, let's have a look. Gemini. Walking away from what no longer serves you. It's time, Geminis, to turn your back on what you know just isn't working or isn't going in your favour anymore. Something's been bubbling for a while that you're wanting to move on from. And this week is the week that you're going to start to see yourself shifting from one stage to another, releasing limitations, releasing blocks, and being in a position, Gemini, where you can start to really walk your true path and find you again. Okay, Cancer, working hard this week. Time to roll the sleeves up, get on with things, prioritise. Don't put all your eggs in one, no, do put all your eggs in one basket. Don't scatter yourself too much. This week is, we need to get on something. We need to like find the final details of situations. So it's like, I really want to say, Cancerians, you've got to be on it this week. You've got to be smart and have that kind of detective eye on situations, Cancerians. Now, this also for you, Cancerians, is a week of finalizing things and paying attention to detail, prioritizing things, but you're going to get results from it. That's why you need to do it. So get on with it. Try to focus on the ball, focus what's in hand, because it will pay off for you. Okay, Leo. Now this card, although it's worry and anxiety, for me it actually says that worry and anxiety is unnecessary. You feel worse than what it actually is. So try not to make a mountain out of a molehill. Try not to be too much of a drama queen, Leos. Easier said than done, I know, for you Leos. However, this card does say if you're worrying about something, you won't need to be. So try and put those stresses down. Virgos, trust your intuition. All is not clear at the moment. Perhaps there's secrets going on. Perhaps there's things that you're keeping a bit hidden. Trust your intuition, Virgos, and follow what feels right. I always think if it feels right, do it. If it doesn't, don't. And that way, if it don't work, at least it felt right at the time. And you might, Virgos, look at doing things with the psychic or spiritual nature as well. Okay, Scorpio, no, Libra, take time out this week. This is the week to focus on yourself, pause. Excuse me, got a bit of a cough going on. Pause, reflect, Libra, and take some time to think about what it is you really want. Hopes and dreams, things that you put on in a little box. This week, you're going to start to have a pivotal point where you can open those dreams and desires, but some time out to contemplate, reflect, and really think about what you want going forward, Libra. Scorpio, relationships is the key. Communication, putting it out there. Love is in the air. Big choices, big decisions, particularly around two people, are going to be really important this week, Scorpio. So make sure you're open and honest in all communication as you make those choices. Sagittarius, abundance is around you. Growth, abundance, comfort, security. You're on a good week. Enjoy it. Take time in nature. Enjoy things that are going to give you pleasure. Capricorn, Devil card. Make sure that you know you have the choice, Capricorn. Don't let anyone tell you can't or shouldn't do something there. It's going to be important where there's temptation around. Perhaps someone around you is making you feel a bit uncomfortable. Don't have to stay in a situation you don't feel comfortable. Aquarius, it's off to the races. Things are getting moving this week. You're taking action. You're going from one side to another, Aquarius. Things are moving. There could be travel opportunities or work opportunities or any opportunity around you, Aquarius, but you're taking things to the next level. And Pisces, the wish card, the star card, everything is aligning for you, Pisces. Happiness, peace, contentment is in the air. Luck is in the air, and you're going to start to feel that dreams can become true. Possibilities are endless for you, Pisces.
And we are back. Welcome back, and thank you to the lovely, lovely Kate.
Oh, she's amazing, is our Kate.
She certainly is. Our outside broadcast glamour puss.
Absolutely.
Of the tarot cards. And yes, you can quote me on that, because she's wonderful and she's always so well composed and cheerful, and whatever she's having, I want some of it.
And she knows her stuff.
And she does know her stuff. She certainly does. Lilybell, our topic of today are words we use as substitute. We are about to change the paradigm because we're about to put a lovely bow in it. But we've been talking about the words we use and the language we use. We touched upon, how some of us like to use big words from time to time. Sometimes we like to substitute them for silly words, and sometimes we just have no choice.
Like thingamajig or what's it?
Yes. What's it doobries and doobry what's it's and all of those wonderful words. And then of course I met a new soulmate in Marjorie, actually.
You did.
For not dumbing down of the one's vocabulary for the benefit of others, but explaining
they've clicked.
Me and Marjorie are together now on that one. Absolutely.
I would just add before we finish that one of my students that's from across the pond in America, I forget sometimes I can never say this word, colloquialisms that we use sometimes, and she makes a note of them because apparently I use a lot. And since she's been with me, she's got pages of what she calls Karen's sayings. So I sort of say, "Oh, you all tickety-boo today. What does that mean?" Because it's all these funny things, and she loves it. So she's got pages of sort of English sayings that we just say. And sometimes things can mean other things in different countries, so you do have to be careful.
You do. Oh yes. There are a couple that cause great confusion and hysterics. I met an Australian once at a work gig, and we was talking about two of them that are particularly not for the air.
Yes.
I can't believe that Richard has let me see Chrissy Wheatley's comment. Where I live, Chrissy says, where I live, they speak funny and don't pronounce the T's, like battery or mattress, because that's what we're like round here. I am a battery mattress kind of guy. Harry Potter.
He's going crazy in our ear as we
Is
speak.
it's like he's got a styrofoam allergy. The thing about colloquialisms, sometimes you find out what they mean in the weirdest of places. For example, my granddad had a phrase, and his name was Bill William. But he used to say when it was stormy, he'd go, "It's looking a bit dark over Will's mother's," and I always used to think he was talking about where his mum lived.
Yes. Yes.
But I was actually watching. I don't know if anyone's seen it. If you've ever been on social media and have a love of words, it's gonna have come up on your algorithm. Today's word of the day is, and there's this guy who uses. Sometimes they are a bit naughty, but he does explain colloquialisms as well. And it turns out that it's looking a bit black over Bill's mother's. Is actually William Shakespeare and his mother's house, and where she, in relation to where she lived
in Stratford upon Avon.
Yes,
right.
yes. So it's about how the weather actually flowed because of the natural flow of the normal weather. When it was getting bad, the weather would change and actually come from his mum's direction.
Oh, I see.
So
Interesting.
there we go. A morning to the lovely Reverend Tony and the gorgeous Reverend Ashley.
Yes, morning to you both. Thank you, Ashley. I'm pleased that you like my goldy top. I was in a gold mood today.
Yes.
Yeah, go. I knew he'd do it.
Believe in your soul. Judith Somerville, I love this. I got a telling off from my daughter for putting a like emoji on a text on Messenger. As far as I knew, it meant like. In the younger generation, it has the opposite. I still do it though. Go, girl, go for it.
Absolutely.
You know, just keep away from fruit and vegetable objects.
Sometimes things sound. It's like my son says to me, "Please don't use that word, Mum." You know.
Yeah.
You know, if I say, "Oh, it's cool," or "Oh, it's," you know, please don't use that word, Mum. It doesn't sound right from you. I went, "Oh, thanks."
Yeah. Even though cool was not of the current generation's making at all.
I know. It was another word I used, but I couldn't remember it, so I just used cool because it just popped into my head. So, yes. I sometimes have. We are going to have yes, we are. Don't worry, we are going to be doing readings. You won't be forgotten. It's just that we like to talk about up and coming things, and Richard has asked us to ask you lovely people out there an interesting question, because we were chatting when Kate was on, and we want to get your thoughts via a sort of a poll as to what you think about spiritual retreat weekends. How do you feel about them? Because some of you may remember a couple of years ago, SPTV was involved with Wimbledon.
Marjorie has broken Richard.
That's me trying to do my professional bit.
Put it on screen. You really, Marjorie, I've completely melted Richard. His motherboard has crashed. His CPU has fizzled.
Thanks, Marjorie. Oh dear.
Back to professional mode.
Right, okay. As I was
poll, please.
This would never happen with Holly and okay. Right, okay. As I was saying, spiritual retreat weekends. 2 years ago, SPTV were involved with Wimbledon Church, and they did a spiritual retreat weekend. So how do you feel about them? And maybe you can go. But don't ask for a ride. Right, okay. Okay. So, can we have your thoughts, please? Do you go to them? Did you enjoy spiritual retreat weekends? Have you visited them abroad? Have you visited them on the coast? What are your thoughts? Everybody's cracking up over a lovely Marjorie comment.
Absolutely. So, let's see if we can get some response to Richard's poll about these wonderful weekends. What do we think of them? Is it something that we tend to do? Rides and polls, I don't know. This is not where I expected it to go. So what do you think of these spiritual weekends, these spiritual retreats? Honest with you, I've never actually been to one, is the honest truth. I've never been to one.
You don't know what you're missing, Nick. They're great fun. I love a spiritual weekend.
I've heard that they do get a bit rowdy.
Not mentioning no names,
evenings.
just speak to Mr. Neil Payne about that. I wouldn't know. I go to bed early. Just speak to Mr. Neil Payne about the rowdy bit.
Having had a video sent to you of just a normal weekend, be careful what you say, Madam Wood.
I've
Cheers.
forgotten about that.
So this is an interesting question from Carrie-Anne Marshall Kearns. What kind of things does one do on a retreat? Oh no. Ask Neil Payne.
Well, stop it. We've got to be professional.
There are workshops, there are lectures, there are classes, there are demonstrations, there are lunches.
Healing, private readings. There's the ones that, I mean, the smaller ones that I've actually run have just been mainly just the work, although we have sort of we had somebody that used to bring their karaoke and their laptop, and so we'd have a dance, and we'd have a bit of a sing song. I love Shaz would play a guitar, and people sometimes just have a sit around and have a bit of a sing song and a chat. But it's mainly workshops, private readings. There's normally a theme, sort of on, yes, learning and growing your spirituality. But there's big ones, big events, and there's also smaller ones that people hold in hotels, in spiritual centres. So that's what happens on a spiritual retreat. So it's sort of like it's to go and have a complete, shut yourself off from everyday life and just concentrate for a whole weekend on your spiritual growth. So
yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Ashley says there are different types of retreats. Some are more chilled out and light-hearted than others. That's a very, very good point.
Yes. Yeah. So what are your thoughts? Do you Tony says, I would love to go to spiritual retreats, but they are expensive here.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the thing, Tony. They can be, unfortunately. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
There we go. Update. Richard has grown his request. It's one of them days. So what would you expect to pay for a weekend of spirituality packed learning and soul growth? I can't speak now. I'm still thinking about Marjorie in Ireland. I hope it was a good holiday.
Oh dear. So it seems lots of people. Nicola's not been on a retreat either.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you know, it's interested me. I've looked into them, but once again, for me, it's always been about price. I'm being told. What would you expect to pay at home? What would you say is a reasonable price for what are we saying, Richard? Saturday morning to Sunday night, or Friday to Monday? So arrive on Friday, stay over Saturday, work Saturday, work Sunday, go home Monday morning. You know, what would you?
And also, what would you like to have on a retreat? What would be your perfect retreat? What would you like to do? And obviously, these retreats, food is included. So you get your breakfast, your lunch, and your evening meal. And a weekend of Karen playing innuendo bingo, priceless. Oh dear. Yes, I suppose it would be, wouldn't it?
And say, on the Saturday evening, you haven't got a demonstration of mediumship. You've got Karen Wood and Nick Brown playing Innuendo Bingo.
Bingo.
Get
Do you know
shut
what?
down.
Can you imagine what we'd be like live? I dread to think.
Because I've had to silence myself a couple of times. Because I have to remember that there is a limit.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I
Yes.
don't have one. But yes, what would people expect to pay for a Friday to Saturday action-packed
Friday
retreat?
to Monday,
That's
action-packed spiritual weekend, including nice food. Oh, Victoria says she went on a Buddhist meditation retreat a long time ago. Was awesome and not too expensive. Was held in Ipswich and run by the London Buddhist Centre. Oh, that's interesting,
Wow.
Victoria. I know a
Because
few people that have been on Buddhist retreats.
yeah, I think I need to go to a Buddhist retreat, and Ipswich isn't too far from me. Because as Kelly Rocket quite rightly points out, I think Nick's finally lost it. Oh, Lily Bell,
Right.
mine cost me for 4 days £128, including pitching my tent.
Ah, so it was it was sort of like a camping retreat. So, oh, that sounds interesting, Lily Bell. Yes, a camping retreat. Oh, yeah, I've not been on one of those before.
Do you know, it's because we've got some prospective ministers, they're getting ordained. They're coming down for the week to Littleport, and they're hiring rooms, but one of them's bringing their caravan.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so they've got a pitch rented out ready, and they'll just be wheeling up, connecting the cables, and boom, they're away.
Well, my friend in Australia, my friend Val Hood, who's a medium. I mean, if you think about Australia, it's a huge place. When she travels to do stuff, she takes her camper van and she pitches up, and then she goes off and does her mediumship dems or classes, and then she comes back to the site and, as you say, plugs things in, and she's away. And that's how she gets around. So she drives hundreds of miles all around Australia, doing her work. So. Oh, here we go.
Waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
It might possibly be beetroot salad, Linda, as Richard is on the case, and it's one of his favourite things to eat. So, yeah.
Yes. Not anymore. Not anymore. After he was here with us, you know, his portion size was certainly to be critiqued.
Yes.
Yes. But yes. So we've got a camping one, but I'm assuming, Richard, you know, we're talking hotels and food included, so you know it would probably be a little bit more than that. But Sophia Marie Ferguson, thank you, my lovely. I've randomly just jumped onto video, not sure how, but interestingly, I run day retreats, so this subject really does resonate. I've not been on a weekend one yet, but I am going on one in a few weeks that I will do a mediumship workshop at. I found many can be very pricey, but working at this one has allowed me to afford it. And that is the thing. Many mediums have to work in order to be able to be a part of that process. So thank you and welcome along. Nice to see you.
Yes, absolutely.
Serendipity. Oh, I've missed saying that name. I pay £400 for the week, which includes 3 meals a day plus accommodation, Friday to following Friday in the south of France. Wow.
So maybe perhaps doing retreats abroad could be a tad cheaper, but obviously you've got to get there. If you're from the UK, you've got to get there as well. Because I do know that at the moment, I think when it finished today, there was a retreat happening in Spain. So, but obviously you've got the retreat price plus you've got your flight as well, which can be a little bit pricey these days.
Certainly,
I think they'll be doing standing room only in flights because you have to pay for all the other bits and pieces on top. So well, welcome, Sophia, and I hope that you pop on and see us again. It's nice to have you. So any other thoughts? Oh, here's Ashley. Last retreat I did was meditation, vegan food, and no TV, internet, etc. You guys sound like you've had lots of fun and giggles on your retreats. Yes, Ashley. I haven't done one like that, but do you know what? And I know this may sound daft because people know that I like my food and I I do like having a little bit of a dance and things like that. But I would quite like to do something like that. And I don't tend to, I mean, well, there's no TV because you don't get time. But I can and have gone without internet when I've been away. I did it in Canada a few years ago when I went, and we had to say only have your phones if absolutely necessary. So yeah, it's a good thing to do sometimes. So Rebecca says, I don't drive, so that makes it difficult to get to places. I understand that, Rebecca. It's difficult sometimes, but what can happen is if a group of people get together, they can sometimes do a car share, which can work out quite well. I did a car share last year. I drove to my Chris Jacobs' house, actually. I drove to his house, and we went all together in his car to Spirit Quest. So the cost includes free yoga, meditation, Dharma talks by Dharma teachers, plus Dharma sharing, which I love the most. Oh, that sounds interesting.
Wow. Yeah. So some really interesting thoughts there. Do feel free to keep sharing the prices that you think are reasonable for Richard to have a peruse of, because he's just curious.
Yes.
And Sophia said that let's just jump. Sophia says France is way more affordable in accommodation and flight prices.
That's interesting, Sophia.
Interesting.
That's very true.
Tony's right.
Exactly. You wouldn't watch you wouldn't want to watch the TV, would you? You're on the retreat. That's very true.
Well, it depends, because if I was watching, if it was like Friday night, I would stay up past midnight and watch the latest episode of Doctor Who.
I see, because it's on it. You're one of the ones that get it first, Nick. Right? Yes.
Yeah, it's on BBC iPlayer, so I always watch it at midnight, and we have to have Rogue back. That's all I'm saying. And definitely Sophia says, and I completely agree with you on this, I think it depends on what you're offering in those retreats. You're absolutely right. You really are.
Yeah. So what do you want? What do you want us to? What would you like to be offered?
I'm gonna say, what sort of things would float your boat and tickle your what's it? Going back to our original thing. What kind of thingamajigs are the most appropriate for a tickle of the what's it?
She's just said the content is most important. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, completely. Well, while everyone's thinking about that and having their deliberations and posting their thoughts, we're just going to take a quick break to let you know what's coming up in SPTV Universe. And when we come back, we will start communicating with the world of spirit and reuniting you with those that are in the world of spirit, improving the continuity of life. And hopefully it will give us enough time to get a full house in Innuendo Bingo and move on to a new game. But by the by, it probably won't happen. But we will be right back after these few words from SPTV. See you in a moment.
Help Spiritual Psychics TV grow our TikTok channel. Connect with us at SPTV UK. We're on a journey to reach our next milestone, and we need your help. Follow us today and support us going live. Imagine getting personalised readings, discovering your card of the day, and so much more. Don't miss out on the opportunity to explore new adventures with us. Follow, engage, and transform. Join our growing community at Spiritual Psychics TV with @SPTV UK on TikTok.
Introducing the SPTV app, your digital spiritual guide for an enlightening journey like no other. Immerse yourself in a world of audio and visual content crafted to inspire, educate, and entertain. Seek guidance with our card of the day, choosing up to 6 cards for personal insights. Enhance your daily life with our wellness section, featuring nutritious recipes, affirmations, and balanced living tips. Explore our spiritualism section for a deep understanding of the religion, its principles, and spiritual answers. Unravel the secrets of the clairs and broaden your spiritual horizon. Easily find local readers, therapists, centers, or churches with our comprehensive directory. Stay connected with live broadcasts, check our schedule, and get to know our insightful presenters. Delve into the meanings of angel numbers, crystals, and a comprehensive list of divination meanings. All of this and more available for free on the SPTV app. Download now at sptv.uk/app and start your journey with your digital spiritual guide.
Tonight from 8 p.m, Claire Pasterfield hosts her show Heavenly Sprinkles for an evening of mediumship readings.
Tomorrow night from 8 p.m, Deb Clark demonstrates her mediumship by offering free readings.
And hello, we are back. Welcome along to the joyride that is SPTV today. Chrissy Wheatley has just said mediumship evenings, relaxation, yoga and ghost hunts, and different people explaining their work and meet and greets, the mediums and psychics and different workshops. So that's one viewpoint. Excellent.
Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Chrissy. Tony Coppins steps in with not to mention different types of healing, crystal healing, Reiki healing, and massage.
Oh, that sounds nice, Tony. I like the sound of that. Yes.
As for the food, it propped me up against a wall with a bag of chips. I'm happy. But you know, I'm not fussy. But obviously, we've just had the commercial break to see what's going on in SPTV. So just a reminder that tonight, of course, we have the wonderful Claire Pasterfield. So don't miss that. Those sprinkles from heaven that is Claire. And then tomorrow we have got the Duchess of SPTV herself, the Queen of the airwaves. Deb Clark is back. It's Tuesday night. So don't miss any of them. And of course, shortly, a few hours after that, you've got it's double dose week. You've got us two again.
Yes, you know. Wednesday, 10 o'clock, 10:30. We're let loose. So God knows what's going to happen on Wednesday.
Gonna say this is brighten your day. Imagine what we're going to be like on Let Loose.
Oh dear, I don't know.
All those things I've held back from saying will be. No, they won't.
No. We have to behave. Serendipity 589, you can ask if anyone can teach yoga to volunteer to cut the cost. That's what happens on my retreats. Yoga seems to be a popular one, and I've often said that I'd quite like a bit of yoga on a retreat. I think it's very relaxing and therapeutic. So that's it. He's doing his bits now. I've just started learning qigong. So that's my Tuesday. Wow. Yeah, my Tuesday.
I used to do a bit of Tai Chi.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the sort of like the Tai Chi is the form where you put everything together with the flow. But the qigong is the movements. But we do put them together as well. But it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting.
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
do quite like it. Yeah.
As far as yoga is concerned, I can just about manage a downward dog, but that's about it.
Right.
Other than that, I'm not that flexible.
No.
And Tony says I always forget Wednesdays.
Oh, Tony, don't forget Wednesdays. We're let loose even more on a Wednesday. God,
how? But yes,
dear.
keep your comments coming in. Thank you. You know, we do call this brighten your day. We know Mondays, especially if you're not on the South Coast, can be a little bit dreary. But interestingly enough, as I look out my window,
You got sunshine.
I see sunshine and blue skies smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see.
I've got now, double. You ought to do a duet, you two.
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with a bit of Irving Berlin at 11:41 on a Monday morning.
Absolutely.
But yes, we are of course here to brighten your day, and I hope we have.
Yes.
You know, spirituality doesn't always have to be serious, and the ability to laugh and be uplifted is really important. And if you can start your day negative and turn it round, then that is more of a spiritual achievement for the soul than you know, understanding huge big words and concepts like what I kind of sometimes have to, regurgitate from a thesaurus. So, upliftment is essential to the soul, my friends.
It
And
is.
in the world in
is.
which we live, where difference and frustration and where there's so much choice that we don't know what we actually do want sometimes, because we're spoilt for choice, and we just get directed down these paths of difficulty and frustration. Sometimes it's really important to just be downright silly and have a good giggle.
There's nothing better. There is nothing better for me. I absolutely enjoy coming on here on a Monday with you and Richard, Nick, and all the lovely SPTV family, and we laugh, and a good belly laugh and a good giggle it does make you feel much better. So
Absolutely.
it really
And
does.
if people don't believe that humor doesn't fit in religion, they've obviously never heard of the laughing Buddha. Which quite often actually they use that to describe my dad. But there we go. Shall we see who's about up there?
Yes, let's see who's about. And then, of course, we've...
yes. Before we do that, of course, because we are talking about humor and upliftment and laughter, Victoria Witcher, by the way, has just said the spiritual side of yoga I find really interesting. There was a beautiful documentary on Netflix called I Am Maris, which is about yoga and how it saved a girl's life. So there we go.
Thank you, Victoria. I'm going to make a note of that.
If you like a bit of Netflix while you chill, then I Am Maris is the thing for you to watch.
Thank you for that. I'm going to watch that.
Absolutely.
I do like a bit of Netflix. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to have our little what if section, which has been wonderfully created by Richard, just to sort of move us into the mood for connecting with the spirit world. So it's a wonderful piece. I always love these. They're very thought-provoking and they make you think. So it's now over to Richard for our what if today.
What if every morning, as the sun breaks the horizon and bathes the world in golden light, you made a conscious choice? A choice to embrace joy, to let it fill every corner of your soul, and to view each challenge through the lens of optimism. Joy is not a destination, but a journey marked by the steps we take to acknowledge and celebrate the beauty that surrounds us. Today, let us choose to fill our hearts with joy, to spread laughter like wildfire, and to approach life's hurdles with a lightness of being. For in the end, it is the joy we choose and the love we share that truly makes life worth living.
And how apt was that?
Oh, that's beautiful. That
Wonderful.
was so nice. And of course, laughter fills you with joy. So yes, definitely.
So what if you choose laughter and joy? Absolutely right. And I hope we have helped you to choose laughter and joy today.
Definitely. Well, we've chosen it, so I hope it's spread out, because joy and laughter spreads out to the whole world. So that's really good. That's lovely. Thank you, Tony. That means a lot. Even if I don't get a reading, I love watching and learning from you guys. Oh, bless you. That's absolutely lovely. That's really lovely. Well, we love it, don't we? We're getting all emotional now. Thank you for the Nicholas says thank you for the time you take out of your day to show up for us all. Well, it's our pleasure to do that for you. So,
and if I was 20 years younger right now, I would say something like totes emotion. I'm not, so I didn't. But thank you all for your kind words. And now, of course, whose turn is it to go first, by the way?
I think it's mine, actually. I think it's mine. Okay, let's just see who's now. I've got a lovely lady that draws close to me now, and she's got a lovely little giggle, and I do feel that she's mum, and she liked to laugh, and I do feel that this lady would have listened to the radio, and she would have been in her kitchen doing bits and pieces, chuckling away to the radio. So I do feel that she would have the radio on, not just for the music channels, but also for the talk programs. And I've also got in my mind the Archers. I don't know even if it's still running, the Archers, but I know it's run for years. So it's like the radio soap that's on Radio 2, I believe. So I just got a mum here that I know would have listened to the radio, especially the Archers, and she would have been doing her bits and pieces. I do feel here that she would have suffered from chest issues. I feel that she had a bit of a using a dodgy ticker. I feel that her heart was giving her problems, and I also feel she didn't go out very much towards the end of her life. So I don't know if this makes sense to anybody at the moment, but I just feel that she loved her home and she loved her family, but she was more of a radio lady than a TV lady. I just feel the radio was always sort of quite close to her and she would listen to it. And I do feel she loved a good book and a magazine, because she's just picked up like the Woman's Weekly. So I know that these things would have been important to her. She would have, I feel that she's got all her bits and pieces around her, because as I'm sitting in the chair, I feel she's got a basket with some sewing and knitting going on. She's got a magazine, she's got a table with her cup of tea on, and then she's got the radio in the background. And I feel like she would have talked to the radio. You know, she would have answered it back, so to speak. She's just making me laugh here, because it's almost as if she's sort of talking back to the radio. So if you could let me know if this makes sense to anybody, just put up a comment. Yes, I can understand this. And I've just got her sort of sitting in a corner of a room, in her chair, and this is where she loved to be. And she loved it when people would pop in as well and see her. So I just feel here that she's just making me, could be my mum died of a heart attack, had heart issues, loved books and magazines. Okay, Rebecca, sounds like my nan. Okay, Sam, but I did feel it was mum. But okay, would you understand where you would sort of like go round to see her on a regular basis, but or somebody would pop in and see her on a regular basis? And right, okay, I also feel, would you understand where there's a connection to Llandudno? Because she's laughing about how somebody used to pronounce that. So would you understand either it's used, went to a holiday destination, Llandudno, because I think that's coastal, if my memory serves me correctly.
It is, yeah.
So
I
just feel that there's a connection with Llandudno, and I feel that somebody used to say it in a funny sort of way, sort of going into what we've been talking about today. And she's also making me aware, she said it was like a charabang holiday where everything got chucked in the car. And so we're going back a little bit. So this is what it would have been when somebody was quite young, I feel, because it's sort of, I don't think there was seatbelt. It was before seatbelts, because everybody's sitting on, kids are sitting on grown-ups' laps and things like that and everything. But the kitchen sink gets chucked into the back of this, I want to say station wagon. It looks like, oh God, what's the car with the wood around? Is it
Wood Anglia or
but it looks like the one with the wood around. Roy
Yeah.
Crocker's got one on Coronation Street. So that one. So it looks to me like that car. So does anybody Sambi and Rebecca, do you understand this? Because if you can understand the holidays and everything going in yeah, do you understand that? But I said Llandudno. Can you understand the Llandudno, Rebecca? Because that is important. Yeah, Wales. That's it, Wales. So Sambi, can you understand this as well? If you can let me know, that would be fantastic. I feel that this lady would have also had sort of like her breathlessness was caused by the heart. And so I do feel that she struggled quite a bit towards the end of her life, even in her own home, sort of getting up. And I feel that she's making me feel as if she got very tired, as if there was a struggle to get around. But she had that strong determination. I'm going to do it. So if you pop round, no, you sit down, I'm making the tea. That's the sort of feeling that I've got with her. Is the vid playing up? I don't think so. So she's just making me aware of this. So Sam B, can you understand? Right, breathless. Used to take day trips to Wales. Okay. So Sam B, can you understand this as well? If you can, let me know, and then I'll sort out who I'm with between you and Rebecca. but I just feel that she just wants to come in because there's someone here that's struggling. And I also feel that there's something about a trip that you want to take, but you're not sure if you're up to it. Rebecca, would you understand that? Because I feel that there's a trip that you want to take or would love to take, but you're not quite up to it now. There's something holding you back. So if you or Sambi can understand this, Sambi, can you let me know if this makes sense to you? And she's just such a warm, caring lady. And I feel that she would always listen to people. So if either one of you can take this, then I'm working with either one of you. So if Sambi's gone quiet, then this is for you. Then Rebecca, you can take the message. But she's just here because she wants to say you can do more. Okay, you didn't hear it. Okay, all right then. Right, your mum struggled to breathe, but would you understand? Yes, right. Okay, Rebecca, I'm going to work with you. So I just feel here that she just wants, right, okay, you want to take a trip. Okay, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Because I just feel that she wants you to sort of manage your limitations, is what she's saying, because that's what she did. She managed her limitations. So don't look at it as a big thing when you do something. Just look at it as small steps and try to get yourself back if you can, because that's what she did. So she's just giving you support because she had a strong determination in life. So that's what she wants to pass on to you. And she's giving you that memory of those trips to Wales because she's saying that we had some fun. And I do feel there was some singing going on as well. So, and I do feel that you always took a packed lunch with you, picnic lunch, to save on the pennies. But I do feel that Nick mentioned earlier about having a portion of chips standing up here, and I do feel that there was, because I'm smelling the salt and vinegar now, so I do feel there was chips involved on the way home. This is what she's making me aware of. So she just wants to give you that memory, Rebecca, to give you some upliftment and to help you. So take her love.
Yeah, wonderful. Well done, doll. Well done. Right. I've just been doing some checking, and one of the things that we say in this show is that sharing is caring.
Yes.
So all I'll say is please don't forget to share to let the world know that we are here.
Yes.
And leave it at that, shall we? And I'm very much aware that my tone has definitely changed. I am aware of a gentleman with me, and I do feel that there is this gentleman as he steps forward. There is a level of decorum and certainly a lot more paced than I would be. There is this gentleness and this warmth about him. I feel like this gentleman was a man out of his time. It's almost like he would have worn clothes that weren't exactly, of the moment. It's basically like, he seemed like he was more comfortable in period dress than he would have been in modern dress. And so his clothing style, his style of dress that he would wear was somewhat out of time, a little bit maybe old-fashioned. But there is also this gentle regalness about him as well. And he's showing me himself sitting in one of those nice wing-back padded comfy chairs, looking at a candle burn, and he's saying, see, I can do meditation too. And he's just one of these very laid back, relaxed, very thoughtful people. And again, there is this slight change in the language that I am using. His tone and his speech would have been, he's certainly not the kind of person that would drop his T's. So Richard can be happy for 5 minutes. And he has got a sense of humor, don't get me wrong, because that one was from him, not from me. he just turned around to me and says, "If that's your story, you may stick to it, dear." So there is this humor about him, but I do feel that his humor was a lot more modest and certainly a lot less guttural, shall we say, an innuendo basis than mine would be. But there, once again, the majority of what I feel from him is this warmth of character. As far as a relationship is concerned, I feel like an adopted uncle or an adopted dad because I feel that warmth, but there is that lack of connection there where you don't feel that kind of longevity of that relationship. So I feel that it would have been somebody who you brought into your life that would have adopted that kind of role. And as he stands in front of me, I can see him as being, average height, reasonably built, medium build. Amanda Jones says, I can take the man, sounds like my partner's dad. You would understand then that there is this distinguishedness about him. And even though, translating that would be a father-in-law, there was this warmth that didn't go down the route of the traditional in-law relationship. There was this warmth that you would have experienced with him. If you can understand that, let me know. And with him, I am feeling chest pains, but I'm also being quiet about it. It's almost like I'm either dismissing it because I'm underestimating it, or I know exactly what it is and I don't see the point in arguing. Because I do feel towards the end of his life, this man became very tired, not necessarily physically tired, but emotionally tired and lethargic towards life. And it was just like, I've done everything I set out to do. I've done what I needed to do. I just want to go home, and bless him. He would have kept quiet about things. So if you can understand that again, Amanda, let me know. One of the reasons why he's here is to remind you of that. Oh, bless you, the daughter he never had. Thank you. There was that warmth just tripled when you said that, because it's easy for them to say it, but if you recognize it, that makes a huge difference to their emotional state. Trust me, it was like, yeah, there she is. It's like, oh. And I feel really, really warm and fuzzy. It's like one of those, on a really, really stormy, rainy night, and you have a nice warm drink and have a blanket over you, and that feeling of the warmth going down. That's what I felt when you said that, Amanda. And I don't know whether there's a memory link there as well. But he's really just here to remind you of that subtlety and the subtle nuances and the majesty of life. Wow. Great philosopher. He had a wonderful philosophy of life and still does. And he wants to remind you of those moments of gentleness and gracefulness, because he says you are certainly more uplifted and slightly more, fun time than he was. But he wants you to remember that as well, because it's that warm and fuzziness that you get from those times of joy. Going back to the what if that we had, it's all about the expression of joy. Oh, bless him. Yeah, he had a bad chest and just gave up on life at the end. Well, he gave up on the physical. He's certainly not giving me the impression of someone who has given up on existence. And this is something that he wants you to know. I gave up on the physical because I was done, but I'm not giving up on existence because it is so exciting. And although he's not the gadabout spirit who's jumping between, times and dimensions, he says, I don't understand. Oh, and this is more about his personality, but also a lesson for you, Amanda. He says all these, proper gentleman. Yeah, absolutely get that. He says, I don't understand why people come to the spirit world. Just to think, he had his, yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Amanda. He says, I don't understand why people come here and suddenly go insane and jumping about from place to place. We've got eternity. Take your time and enjoy the moment. Why don't you? Um, even in moments of frustration, this is why don't you? Why don't you just enjoy the moment and relax and just breathe in the air and smell the sweet smells and feel the textures and just enjoy the experience of existence. And he's actually got a point. There is this temptation when spirit go to the world, when people go to the world of spirit, it's like, oh look, we can do all this and all that, you jump about, jump around, but no, enjoy it, embrace it. Take in the sweet perfumes that float around existence, and just enjoy every moment and take it in, breathe it in, and there's just I could be this guy all day. I'm so enjoying him making use of me to express his personality. That is where the voices do come in handy, darling. Where the voices come in handy, darling, and he just went, watch it. Watch it. And the way this is just anticipation of life. Thank you. You'd very much sit back and watch the world go by. He's such a wonderful, wonderful gentleman to work with, and I really could work with him all day. And I there are times I say, stick around. We've got a circle later. You can help out. And he just sat there and said, and I've got to do it in exactly the way I saw him do it. He just leaned forward and wrapped his fingers like that, and he says, I may well do that. And so for you, Amanda, to conclude this message from him, but by certainly no means conclude his influence upon your life, sit back, enjoy, and make the most of every moment, because it's worth it. Take your time, do it at your own pace, and oh wow, and anyone who tells you to change, let them be damned. And I will say, God bless you, Amanda. Take his absolute warm and fuzzy feeling. He is hot cocoa and cream on a stormy night in front of a nice warm fire with a lovely blanket around your arms. That's how I feel about him, and that's the feeling he's giving me for you. So I'll say, God bless you, and thank you for listening.
Oh, Nick, that was amazing. I love it when you go into the character of the communicator. It's fabulous to watch.
I could go and lay down and go,
I
oh, I feel chill.
Yeah, he sounds like a true gent.
Yeah,
true gent.
absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. As you were working, I was joined by a lady, and I know that the East End of London is very important to her. Because, and I'm not sure if it's the East End, because I was taken to East Enders, and I've got somebody called Ricky, in that dulcet turn. So I do feel that this lady was quite a true East Ender, and I do feel that sometimes she would stand on her front step and shout out, maybe Ricky, or I just feel that she's got that way about her. And I want to say she's got a heart of gold. And look at. I just want to stop there because, oh my gosh, he did that all the time with his hands, and I may just do that. Was one of his sayings. Oh wow, that's really touched Amanda. You can see that. So well done, Nick. That's amazing. And what a lovely gentleman to come through. Okay, so going back to this lady, now she's actually laughing because she's saying, yes, he's a bit of a posh gent, she said. So he's a bit of a posh gent, according to this lady. So, but I do feel that she was very down to earth. She called a spade, and she just said it as it was. And I do feel that sometimes she didn't think before she may have said things, and I feel this may have got her into trouble from time to time. She's not making me aware of what she passed with, but I do know that she was a lady that sort of like kept very busy. And I also feel that she would have had issues with her back and issues with her eyes. So, and I just feel here that she's just stepping forward. And I just know something to do with either EastEnders, the programme, or the East End of London was very important to her. So I do feel there's a connection to the East End. Okay, let's just see what else she's showing me here. Again, I'm not sure who she is at the moment, but I feel that somebody would recognise her. And I feel that her roots, her London roots, she was a London girl and very proud of being from London. And I feel that she would have gone up to the West End and to the city. And I feel that she would have worked up there as well. And I just feel, right, okay. She's making me aware that she may have worked in one of the big hospitals. So I'm not sure if I'm looking at sort of like Barts or somewhere like that, but I'm seeing this huge building and it looks to me like a hospital. So I feel she would have worked in the hospitals. So does this make sense to anybody? She would put Morrison's Caravans in something. No, she'd been to Morrison. I like that serendipity. I like that. Oh, she shopped at Waitrose. Okay, so does this make sense to you? Can you understand this lady, or can anybody understand this lady as she's coming forward? Because I can just see this huge building with lots of windows. It's a red brick building and there's lots of windows there, and I just know that this lady would have worked there. So I feel, and she would have had to have sort of clocked. She's making me aware of the clock in and the clock out machine, so I know that she would have clocked in and clocked out. And I just feel that she would have worked with other women, and she loved that camaraderie. She loved that camaraderie of working with the girls. So, and she liked a bit of a gossip as well. So we've got this lovely salt of the earth lady that has stepped forward, and I'm just feeling, does she connect with anybody at the moment? If anybody, can anybody understand this, Richard? Is he still there? All right. Nobody can take anything. Okay. Right. Okay. Your mum worked in a hospital. Okay, Claudette. Can you understand? My nan was a Londoner. I travelled to the London hospital. Right. So we've got Claudette and we've got Sophia. Can you understand this? The character of her. You know, I've got this true Londoner. She was a Londoner born and bred, and I feel that she was very proud of her London roots. And I also feel that she loved to sort of like tell people where she was from, and that she may have understood the Cockney rhyming slang. So I do feel like apples and pears, and you know, I can't think of it all now, but my dad was from London, so that's why I know some of it. So I do feel that she understood the Cockney rhyming slang, and she was very proud of her roots. And she would have also right, you can both understand that. Okay. So would you understand an anniversary or birthday in the month late September? I want late September, around the 28th or the 29th, and then I want to pop into October, the beginning of October, around the 5th or the 6th of October for an anniversary or a birthday, because I just feel that those dates on the dog and bone. Yes, that's right, Sophia. That's the one I was trying to think of, but I couldn't remember it. And up the apples and pears. So I know that she would use those expressions, and she also, that you would remember, you would remember going out as well, around the streets of London. She'd take you around the streets of London. Okay, Sophia, I'm gonna work with you. Oh, Claudette can understand this as well. Would you understand Maggie? I've got Maggie May, something about Maggie May. So if you can understand that name, that also makes sense. And also, she's taking me to anniversary October. Okay. Can you understand sarsaparilla? Because she's given me a memory of sarsaparilla here. So I feel that she would have given you that, or she took your mum. Okay. Sophia, I'm going to work with you because I do feel as if this lady is for you. And I feel that would you understand, Sophia? I know you said that you're in France, but would you understand that you're thinking about coming back to the UK to do a bit of a trip down memory lane to the haunts of your ancestors, or doing something to do with a recce on, because I'm seeing streets with the railway arches, and I know that she would have lived near something to do with railway arches and pubs on the corner and old-fashioned shops and markets. And I just feel that it's fairly close to the river. You're in the UK. Okay, you're in the UK. So would you understand where you're thinking about doing a little bit of a sort of a trip down memory lane to go back to where your ancestors lived? Came back from France holiday recently. Right, okay. So I just feel that she just wants to encourage you to understand your heritage, understand where you came from. And she also wants to say that she's very proud of you. And I know you've got your lovely medium picture up there as well. But would you understand that she was quite intuitive? And I also feel she's showing me right, Pub and River Scene is where she lived. Fabulous. And would you understand that she would have worked not with the tarot cards, but with playing cards? And I just feel that people would have given readings back in the day from actual playing cards, from a pack of cards. And you saw it in a meditation. Wonderful. Okay. But I just feel there was the intuition comes from her. I feel this is what she's making me aware of. There's the intuition that you have that comes from her line. She wants to let you know of that. And I also feel that she would have known old mediums. And I don't know if you know this, but I just feel that there is a connection, or she would have seen the medium Tetracon. Is it Tetracon? I know that there would have been a medium that she would have known, or she would have gone to see. So, and she's talking about going back in the day. This is sort of like maybe the war years, when she would have gone to see mediums or knew of mediums. But she, right, just pick them up and right, okay. And I just feel here that she just wants to draw close to you, because she's saying that you're a chip off the old block. And I feel here that she's so proud that you're doing what you're doing. And she's saying it's been a long time coming, and she wants to encourage you to move forward, because I feel that it's something that she would have loved to have done, and something that she was very interested in. So she's so pleased that you've actually picked up the mantle and are starting to work with your mediumship and your intuition. And she's also saying, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. Make sure that you use all versatilities that you have, because I do feel that she's making me aware here that you have lots of other strings to your bow. And she's saying the time that she lived, she didn't always, she was held back, I want to say, in her life. And I just feel that sort of like working at a hospital and being part of London was what she loved. But I feel that she says there's more opportunities for you, for you and the rest of the family now. She wants to say that she's met up with quite a lot of people in the spirit world. I feel that she's calling, I know it's a popular name, but I have to give it the name George, and I feel he was known as Georgie. And I just feel that that she just wants to let you know that she's met up with George, and also John and Jack as well. And again, I know they're popular names, but this is what she's giving to me. But would you also understand the name of Stella? The name of Stella. So I feel that that could be also connected. So she's just coming forward to send you so much love and to tell you how proud she is. So, okay, so take her love, and thank you for working with me.
Wow, lovely. You know what? When you're working online, you know you've done a good job when you get a wow with the screaming emoji.
That's very true. That's very true.
Certainly is really well done, Dove. And I hope you enjoyed that, Sophia. You know what? For accidentally found us, interesting conversation, and then you get a message too.
Absolutely.
The universe was lined up. And yeah, you can always come and join us one day, stay in touch, come and join us one day. today.
If you want to come on and be a guest, Sophia, you're more than welcome. Richard's just said.
Yes.
So come and get in touch with Richard and keep in touch with us.
Absolutely. It's exciting times, my dear.
It is. It is.
I am aware that I'm suddenly talking with a plum in the mouth, which once again will cheer Richard up no end. I tend to, because I do voices all the time, I feel like Mrs. Doubtfire now. I do voices. Because I do voices all the time, occasionally they will make use of it. Sophia Marie absolutely meant.
Yeah, definitely.
Completely. And you know, I love listening to Karen work. And interestingly enough, the gentleman that I was with was enjoying listening to Karen work as well.
Oh, that's nice.
And rather than sitting here, you know, getting information and preparing for a reading, just sit here and listen, you know. So I feel like I've got a bit of a theme today myself, the laid back, slightly more nobler of gentlemen. This gentleman, though, was a big man. He was very heavy set. Not huge, but you know, you wouldn't want to accidentally run into him in a corridor in a school or something like that, because you would be the one on the floor. He's very thick set, very strong, powerful man. But again, there's that element of gentle giant with him. I do feel that even though I've got the voice going, there was something. I don't know whether he would have had problems with his voice towards the end, or whether he was someone who suffered with his throat. But I do keep feeling my voice catching and my words catching in my throat, and it's really weird. This gentleman was a man who knew things and was very learned, very knowledgeable, but would have been a great medium, actually, I've got to say, by the way his mind works, because he understood things based on concept, and he could see things unfold in his mind. And when he would talk and explain things to you, he would paint equally a vivid picture. And I just said, you know, that's a really lovely way of working this. Well, it was easy. I just saw it in front of me, and it unfolded, and I just described what I saw. And he was the kind of person who could make really complicated concepts really easy to understand. So I do feel that there would have been some kind of education role within his life, because it feels like this making things easy for people to understand really did feel, he felt so proud and so worthwhile using his time when people could understand things. Again, I do feel that there is an element of sorrow with him as well. And in terms of physicality, I know I mentioned the throat, but I'm feeling lots of nips all over my body. There's no one particular location. So I do feel that he may have had something that spread quite a lot, or there would have been numerous different locations within his body that caused his ultimate ascension to the world of spirit. But I do feel this rather well-spoken, large guy, not too much hair on top, an educator, if not working in education. And I do feel this grandfatherly link. So it's once again that fatherly feeling, but rather than it being, you know, short and distant, it's distant but without being short. So I know he would have been a huge influence on whoever he's wanting to speak to's life. And again, if anyone can understand this, please shout out. So we're not talking to, I was about to say, so I'm not talking to myself. And he goes, oh, darling, we can talk to ourselves. We can talk amongst ourselves. We'll be fine. So there is this wonderful jovialness about him. What else have you got, my friend? There were times when he did take umbrage. Here we go. There were times when he took umbrage to things, and he would be someone who would make his frustrations quite vocal, but more in the style of surprise and shock rather than aggression. Really? Oh my word, no, you couldn't do that. Oh, why would you think such a thing? Rather than being aggressive, he would speak in terms of shock and awe and surprise, and he would be a little bit, animated in that. Kelly Rocket says, I can take this perhaps step grandfather. Again, I did feel that kind of distancy thing in there. So if you can understand everything else about him, I'm not going to quibble over a 4-letter word. I'll take it, love. Yeah, but he does, whoever he does feel this great sense of pride about you, because you see things and understand things in these terms of concept and imagery, and it's like there are some people that have to rip open a radio to understand how it works, but you can see how it works in your head without having to rip it open or having to put it back together again. And so if you can understand that, then this is definitely going to be step. Remember, there's no step in spirit, only the ones we first walk up. Boom, boom. Good sense of humor, this guy. He's got these little quips with that as well. So if you can understand that, Kelly, then please let me know. Again, he's another person who craved solitude to gather his thoughts. And it's going to sound really, really weird, but in one moment I'm feeling rather fine and regal. In another, there's a memory link about caves, or large cavernous areas with dripping water in the background. So I don't know whether you can understand that, Kelly, and whether that helps tie it up for you. But he's definitely someone who's good to have on your side when it comes to learning and development of whatever it is you want to do. I know you are progressing through your stages of development in his words, at a pace. And so it sounds like he's offering his services to you. I'm gladly, you can take it. Lovely, thank you. So do take his offer into. So this is another thing about his personality. He was misinterpreted a lot. Yeah, I can imagine. And there's just one thing that I can say about the absolute true gentlemanliness of this man. Do take my offer into consideration and have a think about it. Not, oh, I would love you to, no begging, no pleading. It's an offer that's there. Take it under consideration and advisement. And should you consider it, then get back to me. What a wonderful, she can get me on the. I don't know whether this is a memory link or whether this is just his humor, but he says you can get me on the usual number. And I'll say God bless you, Kelly, and do take his offer into consideration, and do take his love, and I'll say God bless you and thank you for working with me.
Oh, Nick, that was beautiful.
And
I love it. You do his voice a bit too. Well, do you know what? That's amazing. And this is what I've noticed with you lately. The voices are coming through, and it's really strong, amazing. Oh,
it's getting.
yeah.
I mean, it started out occasional and gradual. So with the hand gestures and the movements to now the voices,
you're getting the whole persona of someone, which is fabulous. So well done. That was amazing, and I'm sure Kelly really appreciated that. So
well, to bring it back down to being me, who'd have thunk all them years ago doing Darth voices that had come into handy?
Well, there you go. You know what? It's amazing sometimes the things that we do as kids that sort of like can come and sort of like come, like what goes round comes round. Sometimes you don't realize at the time, So yes, it's interesting, isn't it? I as a child, I used to love getting up on a stage and talking to people.
Yeah.
In assemblies and things like that. I'd always want to do the reading, and I read the lesson in church and things like that. So there you go. These things come round when we're adults, and we just don't know what's there inside. Well, I want to say thank you to everybody for today, because I've had such a laugh and such joy. It's been my pleasure to be with you this morning, but sadly our time has come to an end. But it's been so joyous and so uplifting. I feel a different person to when I came on, and that's what this show is all about. And I hope all of you have felt the same, because it's good to laugh, it's good to find the joy, it's good to receive the messages from our loved ones, and it's good to be amongst friends. And that's what I love about this show, being amongst friends. So
Me
it's been
too.
really
Me too.
lovely. Really
And you know what? If you're ever feeling, there is a phrase that I do take umbrage with in this way of life about, oh, the energies are this and the energies are that. I think what we've proved as a group today
yes.
is that we can, oh, here it goes, we can change the paradigm and we can influence and affect them. So if you are feeling down, turn it upside down. If you're feeling that weight and burden, be daft, have a giggle, be silly, talk to people, laugh with people, be clumsy with your statements, get your doobry what's it going, and
Your
if
thingamajig, the
your
thingamajig.
thingamajig. And you know what? If all else fails, take a ride to Ireland. And on that note, I will say, God bless. Thank you all for being here and brightening our day too. And so until next time, which is only Wednesday.
Yes, and don't forget, we got Claire Pasterfield tonight, Deb Clark
Absolutely.
tomorrow, and then it's us again on Wednesday morning.
And I have to say, I'm sure Richard is quite concerned about what the term let loose will mean for us when today is just about brightening things up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you all for being with us. It's been our pleasure. Until we meet again on Wednesday, have a fabulous week.
Good night
Bye.
and God bless.